everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It is July 28th, which means we're like only a couple days away from being officially an entire half year into this first time bulking experience I'm in right now. And I'm super excited about finally getting to this milestone. I feel like this is the first like respectable milestone I've reached in this journey. Half a year is nothing to balk at, you know, and from everything I've read online, they say that if you're going to do a bulk, you need to do it for anywhere between 8 to 12 months. That's what I've read at least. So 6 months, I'm not quite there yet, but God forbid I were to get injured or whatever. I feel like 6 months is long enough that I've probably put on some muscle mass that's going to stay with me once I get to that point of dieting. I always compare this to a pregnancy. There are so many parallels for me, both mentally, physically, and otherwise. If this were a pregnancy, and assuming I found out I was pregnant after my missed period, I would be 7 whole months pregnant right now. I'd be going into month 8. I'd be like packing my hospital bags and writing my birth plan, and you know, so it's nothing to laugh at. It's a good amount of time. So I'm really excited about that. But I have been going through some things and I'm going to talk about it. I've gone through some highs, but also some lows. And I feel like I've been starting to like honestly touch upon this by around the 4-month mark and back then was when I started to really noticeably feel my clothes fitting a little differently. I'm like, kind of feel it around my midsection, my hips. But when I took my measurements, they weren't like too outrageous, but it didn't really become truly visible to people who aren't me until this month. And I'm gonna pop up a video here. I put this up on my Instagram a couple days ago, and you know, like I said on my Instagram, it wouldn't be an honest documentation of this process if all I showed was flexing. Because when I'm flexing, and especially with gym lighting and things like that, or like my good bathroom lighting when I take my progress pictures, everything looks great, but that's only half the picture. Because when you're eating in a calorie surplus and you're training with intensity, half of it will be muscle gains, which is what the flexing shows, but the other half, probably more than half, is going to be body fat gains. And like I've said in all my recent videos, if I'm doing this right, it's only going to get more uncomfortable and look worse, because as I put on more muscle, I will be putting on more body fat. And yes, I know it's temporary. Yes, I know it's all part of the process. Yes, I knew what I was signing up for. I knew this was part of it. I think this is why it's such a struggle for women, especially I think middle-aged women, because we grew up in the thick of diet culture. It's very, very difficult to accept fat gain, not just weight gain. I don't care about the scale. It's the body composition change. I want the muscle, but it's going to come at the cost of the body fat. Yes, I know when I do my diet, it will go away. But I felt the importance to list off all those I knows, because it doesn't matter. It's still uncomfortable mentally and physically. Just like with pregnancy, you know you're going to get bigger. You know you're going to get a baby at the end of it. You know you'll be able to work out and figure out your body composition after the baby comes, yada, yada, yada. It doesn't matter, because once you're in it, it's uncomfortable and it's worrisome, and you know you're in it for the long haul. It's not just a quick thing. I'm only 6 months into this. I have like 9 months more ahead of me. I have an entire pregnancy more ahead of me. So it's just rough. And on some days I'm totally fine with it, and I'm totally okay with it. And I put on clothes that fit me and I feel fine. And then I put on clothes that used to look great on me, especially at the end of my diet. And like, I just feel how uncomfortable they are. I see the belly rolls. I feel the belly fat. And like I showed in that video just a few seconds ago, there's jiggle. I can grab whole fistfuls of body fat on my hips and stuff. And the reason this bothers me, it brings me psychologically directly back into all the times I've been postpartum and trapped in a body I hated, that was extremely uncomfortable to me. I hated how it looked. I didn't hate my body. I love my body. I've always loved my body. Hated how it looked, hated how it felt, and hated how out of control I felt and not capable of doing anything about it, because I'm one of those people who gains weight postpartum and retains it until I'm done breastfeeding. So it just puts me right back into that body and into those feelings. And I logically, I know I'm not there. Logically, I know I'm in a completely different circumstance. It doesn't matter. I'm still like in that body, and I'm putting on the clothes that I wore during those times because it's all that fit. Certain Lululemon pants I have really are triggering to me. I don't know how else to say it, and I know this is a first world problem thing, but I want to document these things because I want to remember. I want to be able to look back at this time and be like, oh yeah, that's how I was feeling. That's why I was feeling it. Those are the details of what I was feeling. It's so easy to forget these things. And assuming that this is a successful journey of mine and I end up repeating a bulk in the future, I want the good, the bad, and the ugly to look back on when I do it again, so that I can hold my own hand and be like, okay, I've done this once. I've been there, done that. I've achieved the result. It's all going to be good. So that's like what I'm speaking into the ether. I'm speaking to me. I'm recording to future me. But I really hope that maybe this is beneficial to anybody else who happens upon this video and who's considering going through this or is going through it, just wants someone to commiserate with, wants someone to understand, like, what am I getting myself into, blah, blah, blah. So that is that, the whole body image thing. But I'm just sticking it out, okay? I am, like I wrote on my Instagram page, just like with pregnancy, I am genuinely trying to embrace and love every single part about this, including the bad, because in my experience, and now I'm kind of reflecting on postpartum pregnancy type things, when I've gone through body lows or body challenges, and then I, not bounce back, but I rebuild, I get to a better place in my body, whatever, it's always when I look back on the hard things that I fall in love with the journey. It's like I kind of want to go back to the hard times and feel it one more time, because the high you get from the highs only lasts so long. It's only a high in context to the lows that you've been in. Otherwise, then it just becomes normal and boring, and you kind of crave to feel the high again. And so, like, with that in mind, I oftentimes find myself craving to go back in time to my lowest, hardest, like, deepest in the ditch moments, to feel how hard it is and to really feel the power in transformation. Being in that hard spot and pushing through, it's empowering. My progressive overload has slowed down substantially. And I want to talk about that now, because I have found ways to break through plateaus. Last month, I thought it was that I needed to put my money where my mouth was and really push eating. But my progressive overload has decreased, and I expected it to, because I was not a newbie when I started this. I was detrained. It was just the 1 year postpartum that I allowed myself to be detrained, and I just was like working out casually here and there. So I feel like I've caught up on those detrainee gains, and now I'm sort of just turning my wheels. But I have found a couple things that have helped. And the main thing, I can't remember if I talked about this in my last video, the main thing that I have been doing is that I lift so that I'm able to perform 8 to 10 reps each set in all of my exercises. And once I get to that 8, 9, 10 rep range, I am done. Like, I'm shaking. I can't perform the rep unless I'm cheating, using momentum, not really using the full range of motion, like only getting half reps, or I'm just being sloppy and careless. That's my aim in like all of my sets. I try to lift a weight where I get to the 8, 9, 10 range and I'm starting to feel that way, or I am feeling that way. And then I'd stop, because I'd consider that adequate muscle stimulus. But this whole entire month, I have started doing something different. Come to think of it, I must have talked about this in my last video because I remember thinking that this is what has contributed to finally gaining size on my biceps when I did my measurements at the end of last month. So I'm sorry if this is repetitious, but once I get to that point at the end of the set, I stop, I take 1 or 2 breaths and wait for the catastrophic burn to leave my body, and then I crank out 2 more reps, and then I end the set. And I feel like pushing for those couple extra pump reps is what is really doing the trick for me, because finally this month I have been quite regularly adding more weight to all of my lifts, and I'm hopeful that that's going to translate to gains when I do my measurements, progress pictures, and etc. in the next clip that you guys see. So that is continuing to serve me really well. And here is an example of it. I have been stuck on Bulgarian split squats basically since February. Okay, February was around the time that I stopped being able to overload these. Maybe it was more like March. I don't know. It's been months, okay? I've been stuck at the bar plus 2.5 kilo plates on either side of the bar, which I believe is, it's 25 kilo. So that's a 55-pound Bulgarian split squat. I have been stuck doing 8 to 10 reps on each leg for months. And I have gotten so sick of this exercise that I stopped doing it for 3 weeks. I just completely stopped. I was so sick of it. It didn't feel like it was serving me. I started dreading it. I wasn't getting better at it. I decided to take a break. And I started doing single leg presses on the leg press. Now, maybe that's contributed to this. I don't know. But, and maybe it really has, because on that leg press, I've been able to do the strategy of 8 to 10 reps, take a break, and then crank out 2 to 3 more reps on each set, each of my 4 sets. I got to be in my bonnet and decided to do Bulgarian split squats again last week. And I've moved them from my glutes and hamstrings day to my quads day. I did my first set of the normal bar plus 2.5 kilo plates, and I did 10 reps with ease. And I'm like, okay. So I found this 1.25 kilo plate hidden in the corner in a pile of dust at my gym. And I'm like, finally, this is the most powerful weight plate in the whole gym, because it's the manageable stepping stone to the next size up in like regular weight plates, right? So I threw it on and I did a 3.75 kilo per side Bulgarian split squat. And I was able to do another 10 reps per leg, and it felt great. And I'm like, oh my God. By the way, it was ovulation day, so hormones might have had a little bit of something to do with it. Anyway, so then I took those off and I put 5 kilo plates on both sides, did 10 more reps with each leg. Amazing, already mind blown. So on my 4th and final set, I put those 1.25s back on and I did a 6.25 Bulgarian split squat, and I was able to get 7 reps on one leg and 8 reps on the other leg. And we're talking like a 250% increase on load over the course of 3 weeks. So maybe it was just a matter of taking a break. Maybe it was the strategy of switching it up and doing another exercise. That single leg press takes a lot of time and it's a lot of effort. But dang, I really think it was effective. I really do. So I'm really excited about that. But even beyond that, I am hitting new PRs routinely. So it's very, very exciting. I take this all as a huge confidence boost, knowing that I'm doing something right. I'm definitely doing something right. Even if I'm gaining too much body fat, I am gaining more strength. So that's critical. So that's basically just what I wanted to touch upon. We will cut now, we will do measurements, we will do weigh-in, we will do progress pictures. So let's get to measuring. Hey everybody, we are outside, me and the kids, so expect a disaster. I've got a bare butt Benny on my back because we are potty training and it's going great, except we refuse to poop on the potty. Yeah? He's fantastic with going pee on the potty and he holds it even during the night, but poop is still an issue, and so I'm not trying to force it because I don't want it to become traumatic for him. That's kind of how it was with my oldest, and it created a huge problem that lasted for years. So anyway, I'm going to pop up on the screen. I did my measurements and my weigh-in and everything this morning. These are my month-end measurements, and then it shows the plus or minus change compared to last month. And I have to say they're super lackluster. I gained like hardly any weight. Of course, it's only just one measurement, right? So anything could be amiss, but hardly gained any weight and didn't gain like anything anywhere on my measurements. All of my measurements were the same. Now, I do round my measurements to the nearest quarter centimeter, so maybe there are some like micro gains that I just haven't like captured in my measurements, but it just looks like I kind of maintained this past month. I'm not going to let that get me down though, because like I said, I have increased I've hit a bunch of PRs and I've increased my weights on so many of my lifts. So sometimes we get size gains and maybe sometimes we get strength gains, but I'm not going to let it deter me. I'm just going to keep going, but I do need to continue to push eating. So I got to do that. And I think I'm going to start having 2 shakes a day because it's just easier for me than finding food to put into my body. So that's that. Here are my current 6-month results. Oh boy. Let's see if I can fix this. So these are going to be my total gains since I started my bulk 6 months ago. Vill du säga hej hej?
Hej.
Hej hej. Vad har du? Vad har du? Har du en cookie? Is it num num? Num num. Benny, can you say Megan?
Megan.
Kan du säga Benny?
Benny.
Kan du säga Benjamin?
Benjamin.
Kan du säga Macy?
Missy.
Kan du säga Sander?
Sanne.
Oh, you're such a good boy, aren't you? It's super hot out. Here are my current progress pictures now. And yeah, it's just sort of steady as she goes. I wish, oh wow, my baby's sharing his cookie with me. I wish I had, more to show. But I don't. And so, yeah, this is just where we're at, but I'm still really proud of how hard Oi, that's ice cream on my back. Come on. That's okay, baby. That's okay. Yeah, so that's, it is what I got, and I'm proud of everything. So, Sanne, vill du säga någonting?
Hej hej.
Well, that's it for now. And we'll be back in a month, and hopefully we will have lots of gains to report. Right? Gains. Yeah, okay. Bye, guys.
Glass.